Yeah, they know about the car. What don't they know? What's up guys, Cam at FDF here. Today we're going to be showing you our new angle kit for the WRX on the lift. Little sedan. The two guys that, or I guess one guy that owns it, they had made an angle kit for it. Had a whole bunch of issues with just the alignment and Ackerman, and just a few things were a little out of whack. So they brought us the car to get it all sorted out for them. So this is our new, like, what year would that be? Like 05 to, I'm not a Subaru guy.
What he said.
Either way, it's a 08, right? It's a Subaru. I don't know, it's in that age area. So it's WRX, obviously it came all-wheel drive from the factory. This guy's put a Ford rear end in it, welded the center diff. It's got the front axle stubs in it, but no axles. So it is a rear-wheel drive Subaru. So a couple of key differences. These knuckles actually do look fairly similar to our FRS knuckles. If you could overlay that on the screen when you're editing, up there. Yeah. So they are fairly similar, again with some pretty key differences. The main one being the wheel speed sensor on the WRXs is actually further in from the face of the wheel bearing to the knuckle. So you see we had to put a slot in the knuckle, and then we had our guy Dylan on the CNC just end mill us out this little valley here, just to make sure we got more than enough room for the wheel speed sensor to go through. Just for a quick comparison, this is our normal FRS one. You can see how it's a bit closer to the face where the wheel bearing would sit versus this one. But that's, again, kind of our main key difference, and then obviously some geometry changes within the knuckles and the lowers to suit this car more so than the FRS, as there is some big differences. So I tacked up this side for you guys just to give you a quick visual. This is going to be our lower, this would be the passenger side, and this would be your driver's side here. So you can see one put together, one not. We got our 3/4 bung in the end here for our heim joint. We have our spherical bearing at the front, which is going to go into this pocket in the knuckle. Sit kind of like this, just like that. And then our sway bar tab, this goes to the subframe, and then this back one is similar to our new regular Mantis and Mega Mantis style, where it has the eyelet, and then you'll get a black adjuster with a heim joint, and that's just going to go right onto your factory stud, and then that's where all of your caster adjustment is going to come from. Between this and that, you can extend that one and pull it back, or so on and so forth. So we're going to tack the rest of this kit together for you guys. We'll get it all welded up, and then we'll give you some nice, pretty shots of everything all finished up and powder coated. Yeah, I got my pieces, man. Where's that other piece? Oh, it's right here. I'm good, man. Oh, you're way up there. These bungs are 1.1 inch in diameter, minus 3/4 divided by 2 leaves us with 3/16. So that's going to be our spacer for this one. And then these are 1 inch, minus 3/4 divided by 2 is 1/8 of an inch. So this is going to be our spacer for the front one. So I'll flip this so we're not, the edge of the table's got a natural lean to it. Josiah gave me a nice slot in here. All we gotta do is pop our bung in. Quick tag. Quick tag. We'll just flip it over, make sure she don't go anywhere. Same thing, couple tags. Just to make sure we got a left and a right for our arms. So just like that. So you can see on this one, our circlip side is down. Snap ring faces down. That would be a pair. So on this one, snap ring facing down. Again, nice strong tack. Make sure nothing breaks when we're welding it. Just like that. And we'll grab our sway bar tab. And then this final guy here, again, just a tab and a slot. Pops right in. And one on the bottom. So, in case anybody was wondering, which probably nobody is, but my idea for tacking, so I'm more comfortable welding left to right if you're facing the same direction as me. be right to left. So because I go left to right, I'm gonna start in this corner. If I start on my tack, I'm gonna have like a big bulge on the front of my weld, which I don't like that. So if I run into the tack, by the time I get there, I've got enough heat into it. I'm just gonna kind of molt, everything's gonna, you know, smush into that tack so you won't even notice it. So again, rather than putting 2 tacks here, it's not really gonna add anything. That's not gonna break off on me. So I just do 1 tack, then I can run into it, make everything as seamless as possible. Here, I did do 2 because there's a bevel. So having a bevel, you're able to get a lot more heat into it faster. So this first tack, by the time you do this side bead and then do this top one, you won't even notice it's there. You guys will see. So that's both of our lowers done, all tacked together, nice and simple. So now we'll tack up our other knuckle and then get to welding. You just gotta leave more room for me. My square is too big. That's all right. So basically all I'm checking, whenever you water jet parts, there's always gonna be a kerf going one way or the other. Usually it's from whatever side is the top, will have the straighter edge, and then by the time you get to the bottom, there's always a kerf to it. Just the way the machine works, laser's the same, water jet's the same. It's just a byproduct of cutting through thick material like that. So basically all I do right off the bat is just check to see which way the kerf is going. That way, if this is predominantly leaning that way already, I can tack this side and then I'm able to hit it with a hammer to square it back up. Whereas if this is already maxed out on that side, then I tack it here. Obviously the tacks will prevent me from being able to pull it back square this way. So we'll go ahead and get a couple tacks on this guy. 1 at the back and 1 at the front. Check for our squareness. Oh, pretty good. So again, when I tack these, you won't be able to see it on camera, but just having my hand on it, as soon as I do this first tack, this naturally pulls in as that tack shrinks, which in this case worked out because it actually just squared it up, like I was saying, from that natural kerf that the piece has. So go ahead and tack the other side. So now we have our main part of our knuckle on, our coilover mount here. From there, we're just gonna start working our way down. So I usually just start with whatever's the next piece until I get to the bottom of the knuckle. If you start doing a piece at the top and then 1 at the bottom, depending, some of the spacers are slightly longer than the edge. So if it's like that and you put your bottom one flush, then obviously this tab won't line up, which then in turn would make this one not line up. So you can be a little long, but you just can't be a little short. We usually make these spacers about 50 thou over what our heim joint spacers would be, just for a little bit of tolerance in the welding process. Obviously a lot of pushing and pulling when you put that much heat into something. So yeah, 50 thou over, that way it usually comes out after powder coat and welding to be right around where we need it to be. Obviously with some adjustment every now and then, as there's no set size for welded parts, it's always some variance. So we'll just start working our way down here. Our top tie rod piece, we'll give this a couple tacks. Oh, burner on my crotch. You guys should be able to see that's pulled quite a bit the one way. Give her a couple of whacks. Still over. Might have been too much. Oh, it's perfect. That's what I was saying at the start. So when I tried to smack that one, because I had tacked on this side of it, when I tried to pull it back the other way, it just cracked that tack in the corner. No big deal, squared it up, re-tacked it. Just keep on trucking. So now we have our double shear plate. This one's a little different than normal. If you look at all of our mega knuckles and stuff, so these ones do have quite a kick to bring the tie rod up a little higher than the ball joint itself. But as you can see on this one, it is a full spacer higher. So it's at a completely different height, which again, that's just completely manufacturer dependent. So BMWs, FRS, this car, they all have the rack in front of the subframe. 350s, S chassis, just most cars in general have the tie rod behind. And again, that's just completely manufacturer specific. We don't determine that, we just build it to work with whatever vehicle we're making something for. So yeah, this one just has, like I said, just a bit of a different spacing. Tie rod's up here and your ball joint is a full heim joint lower. Not that I'm the engineer here, but that's all based on bump steer and where the tie rod height is in comparison to the lower and a whole bunch of different factors. So See, we have our Ackerman adjustment here, just like all of our other kits, uses the same aluminum, either neutral, -2, +2 Ackerman plate. And yeah, so from here on out, pretty straightforward. We just use our spacers. Now that this plate's square, our spacer will square this plate up, and then we have another spacer for our ball joint, which will then get that all sorted out. The way these ones work is we have this is the spacing for a 5/8 Heim joint with 2 misalignment spacers. So we do that, and then we put 1 Ackerman plate inside. Again, that's just based on bump steer and where the tie rod needs to be in the vehicle. So whether that be on top or on the bottom, I'm not too familiar with these chassis, like I said. But yeah, so this will actually give you the ability to adjust for bump steer, whatever the case may be. Again, that's Josiah's field, not mine. Where's my bolt, man? Where am I gonna go with that? I thought Brendan stole my bolt. Oh!
Thanks,
Jack took it. You took it, so I'm not gonna thank you.
Rain took it.
You take my bolt, man?
He doesn't think so.
He thinks he's got bolts.
Yeah.
Look at bolts. 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 Weak. So, like I said, now that we've acquired the bolt, so we got our spacer, we got our plate in there. Oh my God. Tighten that up. Make sure this plate's all nice and flat. It's not. Get a couple tacks on him. So that's the tie rod setup. Like I said, we have a slightly different spacing for the bottom ball joint here. Get that guy tightened up. Center it on the bottom. Couple tacks on him. And then we're pretty much there. All we have are these two, I'm not too sure what you would call them. I guess extensions. Basically just to bridge the gap from where our strut mount is to the ball joint, just to add some more rigidity in this flat space here. Yeah. So we can. I'm gonna leave this nut in just so I can make sure the plate doesn't interfere with that at all. So you can see, lines up really nice with our existing strut mount. All we gotta do is tack that to that side. And then the size of our 1/2" bolts and nuts, the heads of them are 3/4. So I made myself just a little 3/4 spacer that I can throw in between here, just to maintain a nice square width across the two of these. We'll just box this guy in. Tuck that guy in there. And then like I said, you can see when you go to back this bolt off, the nut inside just gets held on its own. And then all we have left is our bearing face. So I'm just gonna clean the front of this up from water jet. The material we use has quite the scale on it. Again, just from the manufacturing process. And then water jetting everything just makes it look very rusty. So again, just kind of a byproduct of the way the products are cut, but again, doesn't affect the tie rod thief himself, tie rod plier thief, back in action. So yeah, we'll clean this face up, we'll get our bearing face slapped on, and then just gotta weld them up. All done. I had to flag him, not a fleb him. Okay, so we're all we're all done welding these parts up. We got our lower there. We got our knuckle here. I'm gonna do the other two behind the scenes. Right now they're gonna go over to Troy. We're gonna get them powder coated, hopefully today for us. And then yeah, next video you guys will see will be the install. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like the video and comment. Yep. Skyline's been in limbo for like 2 months now. Not in limbo, but just kind of getting worked on, then not getting worked on, and then either way, hopefully within the next couple weeks we'll have something to show you. All I need is injectors, so I didn't know injectors were so expensive, but we're gonna make it happen. So within 1 to 2 weeks we should have something for you. I know, I'm just as upset as you are, genuinely. That's all right. Okay, ciao.